let's do that. Had a great conversation with him. Probably because I've been putting this together and realized I need to use some of what I'm going to talk about on him. And it worked. We actually shook hands. We haven't ever, done that. So persuasion, it's about, getting people to follow you because it matters to them. And obviously it's about respect. It's about earning people's respect. It's about learning to make sure people trust you and that when you're going to do what you say you're going to do. It's about that kind of stuff. Who do you influence and how much? Let me tell you something. Everything I'm talking about today is family and professional. I have a 26-year-old daughter and actually got her married about 3 weeks ago. It's been the most awesome thing in the world. She hasn't lived with us for a while, but just to know that she's off my payroll now, it's so cool. I think I figured it out. I bet you I'm going to get a $1,500 raise. Yeah, a month, by the way, because I've been paying her apartment forever. So this is cool. But you know what? I do a lot of work to influence her and now her husband, my son-in-law. I do a lot of this, man. My son-in-law actually works for Flogistics now. And I didn't get him a job. Don't think I got him a job because I didn't. He's a purchasing punk and they do all that kind of stuff. So he has nothing to do with safety. But I'm teaching a leadership class and I make him go to the class. It's hilarious because he won't tell me no. You know what? That's my daughter. I can convince her and influence her, but you're not the right man. But I use a lot of this. I got to tell you a quick story about the wedding. 3 weeks ago, she got married in a little town called Bluffdale, Texas. And this has nothing to do with what I'm about to say, but this is how I am. Bluffdale is in between Granbury and Stephenville, Texas. If you know anything about North Texas, it doesn't matter if you don't. But anyway, it had rained all day. It was the wedding nightmare. So Friday night, it had rained all night. Saturday afternoon at 5 was the wedding. So it was an outdoor wedding. So I spent all night Friday, my wife, my daughter, the bridesmaids, just crying the whole time. We can't have an outdoor wedding, whatever. We woke up Saturday morning, beautiful skies, the sun was great, it was awesome, all right? So I slept in, they all got up, and I told my wife, man, I don't get to sleep in very often, so I'm sleeping in. And we were actually staying on a ranch, and they had housing there for the bride and the family and stuff, so it was kind of cool. So we were staying there, I woke up, and my wife and I stayed in the horse stable. They had a little room upstairs. So it was kind of cool, a bunch of horses around and everything. Anyway, so it's like 9 o'clock, so I start walking out to go see where they're at. And I see them all out there, and I'm like, hey, I'm like in a great mood, man. Today's the day she's off my payroll. This is cool. He better show up, and I'm like calling her. You better show up, dude. If you don't show up, I know people. He's like, I'm coming, and whatever. So he comes out. But anyway, so at that night, so that part, we go, and the venue had planted brand new grass out there. And where the chairs and everything were going to go, freaking hogs came and rooted up all the grass. It was horrible. So they're all crying. It's just like, oh my gosh. So I'm like, wow, I'm the only male here. And they're about to turn on me because I bet you they think those pigs were males. And so I'm like, so we get it fixed. So anyway, so that starts, all right? So that night, it's been a tough night. And I don't drink, all right? I'm not a drinker, but I took 2 shots of whiskey just because I don't know why. And man, I was like, wow, 220 pounds. Why would that affect me? Because you're a wuss. So, anyway, so I go and have the toast with my daughter. Right now, you got to understand, I'm a safety professional 24/7. I talk safety all the time. People hate to be around me because all I do is tell them how that's unsafe and how they need to do it and this and that. And whether it's my wife today, my wife was on the ladder to try to reach something and said, you need to get off the top of that ladder. And I said, if you were working for me, I'd fire your ass right now. But anyway, she's like, I bet you wouldn't. And she's right. I want to go home tonight. So, here's the deal. That night, so I had the toast and, to my sweet little daughter. She's my only child, right? And it's a daughter. And she's a sweetheart. And Daddy has spoiled her like you wouldn't believe. And so I'm like, getting up there crying like a big old baby. And here's the deal. And I'm talking about hazard recognition. I'm actually teaching you hazard recognition right now. So we're up on a stage, and I do the toast, and I go to step down the stage and miss the first step. And busted my tail in front of 300 people. Drunk people at that. So you know what I heard all night? I heard, would you consider that an unsafe act or an unsafe condition? Would you like 3 days off, or would you like to be terminated? I mean, everybody. I have friends from California, and they were even on it. So anyway, what does that mean have to do with influence? Can you edit that? You might want to. So we influence our family, but people have influence. I put this in here because I want you to see something. Look at these numbers on Twitter for some of these people. And look who they are. Now, hold on. Whoa. Alright, yeah, you might be a Lady Gaga fan, that's cool. 9,500,000 followers. You think she has influence? Yeah. People have huge amounts of influence out there. You just don't realize it, that it's actually influence. So when do we influence? We influence every single time that we have a teachable moment. We influence. We take every moment that we can and teach them. I spend my life teaching people how to lead better, how to influence better, how to do safety better, all the time. All the time. Drivers on I-35 coming up here, I was teaching them how to drive. Because they didn't know what they were doing. Hope that wasn't any of y'all. If it was, we'll find you. We look for breakthroughs. You know what? One of the best opportunities I found to influence people and to teach them and to get them on your side is when you have those times when things are really good or things are really bad. On that injury that we hadn't had a reportable injury in 22 months. 22 months, it's almost unheard of for an oil and gas services company. Either we were really good or I was just a great case manager. Y'all figured that out maybe. Right? Well, let me tell you something.
It's all for it.
I took that opportunity, and I remember when we had it and we talked to the executive group I was communicating, but I took that opportunity, 10 minutes, just explaining why I thought that supervisor failed that employee. The employee made a bonehead move, no doubt. But I took 10 minutes to explain what that supervisor could have done to lead that employee and influence him back. That's how I want to do it. Why do we influence? Because we want to build trust, man. We want people to always